Does this thing work, Andrew? Were you there? Or are you playing a video that I can't hear the volume?
I'm here. I'm just about to get in and get ready. Playing a few funny COVID videos. People being able to test their audio and stuff. Because the audio, the guy had to reboot in order for audio to work.
I got double audio going.
Yeah. You can hear it, right?
Yes, I can.
Yeah.
So you think you can stop me and just shake my hand? So you think...
Oh, I didn't really mean to stop it. I'm just trying to put something entertaining on while we wait. Hey, that looks nice.
Is this a fever? Is this just allergies? Caught in a lockdown, no escape from the family. Don't touch your eyes, just hand sanitize quickly. I'm just a
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me. Oh, I was saying you got to get over here.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
As your family feels comfortable, have you guys over for an afternoon for a nice little swim and a barbecue. And where are you with that? Are you still locked down?
Like I'm still being as safe as I can. You know what I mean? Like I still did my groceries yesterday by pickup and all that stuff. Yeah, I would say I'm more or less still on lockdown. I've done a couple of recruiting appointments now in person and stuff that I felt would make a difference if I was in person versus doing it on Zoom. I haven't felt like I have any need to. We had friends over now. We have our kids are having friends over.
Okay.
You know.
So you've moved up a little bit. Things are.
Yeah, absolutely.
I haven't spoken to you since the loosening up has started.
Yeah.
Because Sonny was in town yesterday and we went golfing.
I called him a bunch of times. He was too busy golfing with you to return my call.
Called after 2:30, 3 o'clock. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I did see him grabbing his phone, but he wasn't on it. I think he was probably checking messages and stuff like that.
I even left him a voicemail saying I'd like to talk to him before this meeting. I never heard from him.
He's still in Ottawa.
Whatever. Doesn't matter. It's not an issue.
Huh.
You can hear me fine, right? Like talking. I adjusted the sound of the music so that it could be kind of on in the background, but I'd still be able to talk and hear.
I would turn the music down a little bit more then.
I just did that again. Just turned it down more. How's that now?
A hair higher.
Hair higher. Oh, just a sec. Can't get there we go. There we go. That's 2 hairs higher. This is pretty good, don't you think?
Yes.
I love Bohemian Rhapsody, and then the lyrics are pretty funny. I had to find if you listen very carefully, it actually says masturbate in here, but it's not in the written part of the words.
Okay, that's not a bad thing.
We just passed it. The Galileo, masturbate.
They probably got to put a shirt on or something.
You probably want a shirt on if you're gonna have your video on for the sales meeting. Probably.
So you think you could stop me and just shake my hand? So you think we could hang out and not break up plans? Oh, baby, can't do this with me, baby. Just gotta stay home.
Oh, Hanker's inside. Poor Hanky. Do you want to come out with me? Level 8, Fortnite.
So, Kendra, do you hear me?
Hey, Jill, how are you?
Good, yourself?
Very good, thanks.
Awesome.
Oh, now she's going for it.
It's beautiful outside, eh?
Yes. It's gonna be
Oh,
hot though.
Still,
It's
it's
gonna be-
beautiful.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm not gonna complain. I'm in my office in the basement, my home office, and my wife is outside on the balcony, you know, with beautiful setting outside.
Oh, nice.
I just went out there, and she says, "You want my place?" I said, I would never that to you, but never, never.
Isn't it amazing how many people's offices look exactly the same these days?
Yeah. Well, mine is. I just changed the onward here and changed the AW command, the take command, and things like that. So.
Did you have that?
Nobody saw anything, but I'm just making sure the camera hasn't flipped around while I grabbed it. Anything.
Never.
I don't know. I saw you, Shane. You were sleeping outside, almost naked.
I'm putting a shirt on for this meeting.
Oh, yeah.
Tough life.
I have a couple recruits coming to this meeting, Mark, Shane. You know, maybe your shirt off would help them join up quicker. I don't know.
What time do we start exactly? 12?
12 o'clock.
Okay.
Been
so-
there.
okay.
And how's things going with Sam Kerr? Because we're about to do a deal with her tonight.
Good, I think.
Does she hate me, or
She's busy taking.
did I deal with it, or have
she's got
Courtney deal with it?
month. She's got a. Here, I can't tell how many participants are on.
I
Six.
scroll through. Not very
Six.
many. 3 or 4.
There are 6.
I don't think it's really appropriate for me to talk about that right now, Shane.
I agree. I thought there was only 4 of us.
Yeah.
Yes. Maybe you could answer this. Should I deal with it or Courtney?
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
You should deal with it, and you should be welcoming and friendly and nice, and make her know that there's nothing weird, just by being yourself, right?
Yes. Courtney's had all the conversation at this point
Okay.
because he when it showed the clients, like it wasn't me.
Okay. Then just do what you would have done if it was anybody else, I would say.
Okay.
Okay. Hi, Mikey. How are you? Hi, Steve. I think that's Steve.
Hi there.
Steve,
I'm
but
good.
I'm
How are
assuming
you?
the mustache is Steve. Hi, Mikey. How are you? Micah.
Fine. How
Uh,
are you? Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Ride till I can't no more. I gotta play all day 'cause the daycare closed. Gonna ride till I can't no more.
Or fired good for somebody.
So let's turn it back. Been home on my cash. If the school take my
I like the size of it.
Took my shorts, Play-Doh, Nemo finger paint while we stuck up on the porch. Winking all the schools reopen. 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 Daddy make me sandwich. Hold up, make that fish dish. Go on, make me pasta. Put on Daniel Tiger. My life is a movie. Groundhog Day and Bradley. Volcano so proud. Can't drink this early. Yep, winking all the schools reopen. Winking all the schools
No.
reopen. Winking all the schools reopen.
There's so much creativity on the internet with COVID music and videos and stuff like that right now.
Right till I can't no more. I gotta play all day 'cause the daycare closed. I'm gonna ride till I can't no more. iPad, ice cream, throw a tantrum and scream. Time out 15 minutes, think it's time for HGTV. Baby's got a habit, flippy garbage trucks and sports cars. Riding my last nerve, night Cardi B's nails on a chalkboard. So much stress, bouncy castles flat. Jesus, take all, we'll get the teachers back. Wish I could sleep all day, but the daycare's closed. I'm gonna ride till I can't. Yeah, I gotta play all day 'cause the daycare closed. I'm gonna ride till I can't no more. I gotta play all day 'cause the daycare closed. I'm gonna ride till I can't no more.
When I'm sharing my screen, can you see me on video as well, or is it just the screen when
No, I see you. I
you
see
me
you.
too? Okay.
I have you up in the corner and then the screen playing, and I can see Wendy now up in the corner because she was probably the last to speak.
Yeah,
Cool.
same as.
Yeah. So I'm just going to do speaker view, gallery view. Gallery view is everybody.
Yeah. I got gallery view down the side, but I can't see myself. I guess it's normal. I don't know.
No, that's when you slide across the bot. Well, depending where you have it, but you slide across. So like I have I'm on an iPad. I have four speakers visible, and I'm watching the COVID couple there that I am familiar with on the larger screen.
Right.
And then I have to just scroll left to right to see, you know, Micah's there, Steve's there, Shane's there, etc.
Right. I can't see myself. You're right.
They can't enable video, they're gonna need directions. And Bob keeps on freezing because he has a bad connection. And Phyllis looks like she's joining from her bedroom, but it's all ceiling, yeah, too much headroom. Jeff's the funny one who's the background editor, but it isn't working and he looks like he's the predator. The opposites are closed and we're all making the best of it. My son got ketchup on my quarterly estimate. My wife walked past, he didn't know that she was on.
I guess you really do have to serve sandwiches beforehand to get people to come early, eh?
And all the families are there.
I
guess
tried
so.
to get 4 minutes too. We're usually like, oh no, I hope I get a sandwich.
Jeff, yeah. Jeffrey, see. Oh, Jeff, see you are fire. Oh,
See you in the
gotta get
bathroom.
that. Can everyone mute, please? Gotta get that.
Did Bob drop off?
Gotta get that.
Have you guys seen Tiger King?
Gotta get.
I watched 4 episodes last night.
Zoom, zoom, zoom. Feel friends. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Make it pop. Zoom, zoom, zoom. But be authentic. Zoom, zoom, zoom.
Tiger King.
Zoom, zoom, zoom. There's an echo. Zoom, zoom, zoom.
Catch flow.
Zoom, zoom, zoom. Touch point. Zoom, zoom, zoom. I got that quarterly report taking forever to load. I got a hard stop at 3. Let me share my screen. I dialed 3008, but you're 3000 and late. She thinks nobody is there, and so she leaves her chair.
I keep telling you, I need your help with laundry. I can't be the only one that does this.
Zoom, zoom, zoom.
Synergy.
Zoom, zoom, zoom.
Get in line.
Zoom, zoom, zoom.
Circle back.
Zoom, zoom, zoom.
Welcome, Elaine. It's nice to have you here. Looking forward to hearing you talk. Thanks for coming on.
There's 4 tigers.
All right, let's bring this medley home, shall we? Yeah, I got an hour for you. I sent out some flowers for you. I charge for power for you. Yeah, but I won't shower for you. You know it's true. Everything I do it on Zoom.
Some people are really creative.
Yeah.
We can hear you in the bathroom.
Yeah, we can
Oh,
see
now we
you.
can see you in the bathroom. Okay, stop. Jeff, no.
Whoop. All right, so we got 1 minute to when we're going to kick off here. So we're going to give people a little bit more time to sign on. And did anybody have any trouble logging on with their audio? Because I know, like, I had to reboot, and our morning call this morning, a lot of people had to reboot in order to get audio.
No.
Get a Mac. Yeah, get a Mac.
What was that?
Andrew, get a Mac.
Way to
I'm
go,
on-
Jill.
I didn't
Way to go,
reboot, you're
Jill.
right. For my Mac bill, all I had to do was put in my Mac password and it rebooted the audio, but not my whole computer.
I was on Zoom all morning and didn't have to do anything.
Yeah, everybody on the kickoff call this morning at 9:30, they all had to get off and back on.
Oh,
Some people had to
strange.
reboot. So.
Mine was fine. I was okay, but I was on at 11:30. I was on too early.
Did you get lunch, Wendy?
I did give it lunch, and then I just took a little nap, and then I came back on.
Good girl.
All right, it's 12 o'clock, and we have a lot of really great content today, a lot of great speakers. So we will get started. Oh, I didn't mean to click on that.
Do you
What was that?
do you have one of Marvin's jokes to start us off?
Well, I kind of thought that's what those videos were. The 3 videos I played of fun things about COVID. That was my joke. I do have one more video that we're going to end with, but no, I don't have a prepared joke. So Shane, I'll let you do some research and think of that, and maybe we'll come back to you towards the end of the meeting. All right?
You got it.
Shane, it's got to be PG.
Well, then it wouldn't be a Marvin joke, Wendy.
I've been
Yeah,
told,
no, he waters them down a little bit.
I've been told on numerous occasions.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to start with, as per usual, our mission statement, our vision statement, excuse me, to grow our company to be the #1 real estate company in Canada in agent count and market share, built with quality individuals who place paramount importance and value on integrity, education, kindness, culture, and opportunity. By achieving this vision together, we will create a positive impact on our industry, community, associates, and families for generations to come.
Amen.
Amen. Yay, brother.
Yeah. So I'm going to stop sharing for 1 second because I kind of have something I want to say here. Let's hope I have it ready here. That didn't work. Okay. So I wanted in line with our mission and with the recent events in the US surrounding Black Lives Matter and the murder of George Floyd, among others, it has shone a light and opened up a very difficult conversation surrounding racism. Hopefully, these tragedies, protests, and ongoing conversations can lead to progress and the beginnings of real change and understanding. I believe we would be remiss not to acknowledge what is going on, and I want it to be clear that racism or any other form of discrimination and bullying will not be accepted within our brokerage family. I sincerely hope that everybody would feel coming forward to me or another member of the leadership team. Something's going on here. And the leadership team, if they have experience or knowledge of an act that goes contrary to the culture that we're striving to create and maintain. I believe that the opportunity is born of this struggle is to learn from each other, to stop and listen and become more knowledgeable of each other's histories, backgrounds, and traditions. By doing so, we can all become better people and realtors. It is in our diversity that we can find strength. And we should all be curious about what we can learn and about how each of our experiences have shaped who we have each become. It is in that vein, with that understanding, that I want to announce what we hope to establish in an annual tradition of our own, a KWIR tradition where we stop to learn about each other and celebrate our diversity. Let's call it Diversity Day. As we cannot all yet be together, we'd like to start by asking anyone who wishes to share a little bit about themselves via a short video. Here are some suggested points of interest to make this easier for people to do. Where are you from? What's your background? The languages you speak and those spoken in your culture or your country of origin. Any relevant history highlights that you wish to share, any traditions, etc. Traditional ways of showing respect, greetings, how to say thank you. How people of similar backgrounds to you would want to be treated by their realtor. Is there like feng shui for Chinese, two hands on a business card in Japanese culture. There's all kinds of special ways that we could show knowledge and respect of people's culture, and we'd love to learn those. Favorite traditional food, providing a recipe would be a bonus, and a great restaurant within the city that serves authentic food. Note, these videos should be no more than 5 minutes long, and we'd like to share them either over a course of a week or in a weekly format, or once a month until further notice. We wish to catalog them as a resource on an internal webpage for any agent who wants to revisit it if they have a client of similar background or to service or to refer. In the future, we may want to turn this into an annual social event where we can all share food and fun and get to know each other better and share in some laughs. I thought I'd go first as an example. I am going to be putting this in a video as well. My family has been in Canada for generations, where my heritage would be primarily French Canadian on my father's side and English and Scottish on my mother's sides. My parents were raised either Catholic or Protestant, and my mother taught in a Catholic school system. Despite the fact that I'm not a minority, I do have some unique insights into racism and diversity, as my beautiful wife was born into a refugee camp when her parents escaped Cambodia and the Khmer Rouge regime. I'm going to share her story in an attempt to bring value to the conversation. If one wanted to learn about Cambodia's history and the struggles they endured, I would recommend the movie The Killing Fields. This is how my wife and I had to learn about it, as my father-in-law, who's an exceptionally hardworking family man, will not talk about his past in the war in Cambodia. He's a proud Canadian, but he also seems to bear a sense of shame for leaving his country. He refuses to travel and has not left Ottawa since he moved here over 35 years ago. Cambodians typically call themselves Khmer. There's a lot of Christians due to the various missionary work, but the prevailing religion is Buddhism, and they are famous for their temples, including the Angkor Wat. There are two ways to say hello in Khmer. One, which is formal, Jum Rit Sua, and you'd have your hands together. And the other one is Sua Sidai, which is informal. It is appropriate to say thanks by putting your hands together and saying Okun with a slight bow. Women who are older than you are referred to as Ming as a sign of respect, which means aunt or auntie, and men are referred to as Bu, which means uncle. We had a loose translation of uncle. My wife and I had a traditional Khmer wedding that was the real highlight of our nuptials. In the video, I plan on providing some pictures so that people can smile at me. Khmer weddings are typically 5 days long, but we condensed ours and did it over 2 days with 5 different costume changes and ceremonies that included a walk through the neighborhood with food and music, negotiations of a dowry, and guests getting us ready by cutting our hair and spritzing us with perfume. Red strings were tied to our wrists by each guest, representing their blessing for us, and we were not to ever cut them off. They were supposed to fall off on their own. I was also I held a knife or a sword, and I vowed to protect my family. And of course, we had a wonderful feast. I have learned that the Cambodian people are about community more than possessions. They are the first to come over and selflessly help and give their time. My mother-in-law is famous for her spring rolls, and I'll be providing the recipe. And the best Khmer food can be found at temple after attending a ceremony. I'm really not very familiar with any purely Cambodian restaurants in Ottawa, as I believe they're typically marketed primarily as Thai restaurants. If anybody wants to participate in this, has any questions or wishes to move the conversation around culture and diversity, etc., forward further, we have a very strong, wonderful culture committee. Anne Winch and Diane Gillette are leading that committee, and I would encourage you to reach out to them and participate. We want to keep this conversation going and make sure that we're fostering a wonderful environment here at KWIR. So I'd encourage you all to do that. Just 1 second, so I go back to sharing my screen. Okay.
That was great. That was very educational, Andrew. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to actually acknowledge my wife on that. I find that people often especially people who've come from that kind of a struggle, really seem to have a hard time sharing. My wife is a very private person about her history and her background as well. So I'm hoping that as people have the courage to share their videos, that we really pay a lot of respect to them for being willing to share. Make sure that, you know, like let's really do a good job of listening and paying attention to these. We do have it's a wonderful opportunity to learn. It's a wonderful opportunity as a realtor to educate yourselves on various cultures so that you could show an added amount of respect that I know will be very, very much appreciated. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what people have to say. So thank you to our culture committee for helping put this together. And I'm really looking forward to working on this important project. Now I'd like to introduce Alain Migueles. Alain is the Manager of Planning and Policy and Resiliency for the City of Ottawa. I've heard Alain speak on a couple of occasions. I've asked him here to talk about Ottawa's future, and have a little bit of focus around the fact that the urban boundaries have been moved out over 1,600 hectares. And I know that he'll provide you guys all with a lot of insight on that. Alain?
Thank you very much, and thanks for inviting me. I really appreciated the introduction, and as a matter of fact, I'm just going to start with adding a little bit of my own to that. As you can see, my family name is Spanish. My parents are both from Argentina. My wife is from the West Indies, or her parents are from the West Indies. She was actually born in Montreal. And it's obviously something that doesn't register in the everyday consciousness, because by and large, I think, you know, in Canada, we have a very, very different understanding of our societal values, and we tend to differentiate ourselves quite a bit from the United States, and that's perfectly accurate, and I would say that it's true. But when, you know, Black people tell us that there are still things going on, I'll just recount one instance where she and I were looking for houses. We were shopping for houses here in Ottawa, maybe 16, 17, 18 years ago. Not that long ago, but and we were looking at a beautiful house in the Golden Triangle, and my wife had a question for the realtor who was doing the showing about the house. And I wasn't around, and she just asked a question, and she was floored to hear the response that, you know, it was a very short response, and the comment that was added was, well, you wouldn't be able to afford it anyways. And what do you say to something like that? It's just one of these things that, you know, it stays with you. And it had angered me at the time, and I said, I'm going to go see him. And she goes, no, please don't. Let's just, you know, move along here. But all these years afterwards, you know, it just calls on us to all remember that these things, we have to check ourselves for these things. We have to catch them, and we have to understand, you know, you have no idea who you're talking to. My wife makes an income similar to mine. She's gainfully employed, and we could very much afford, you know, even more than that house was worth. Anyways, that's an aside, but I commend you for the exercise, and it's something we all have to take seriously, I think.
Thank you.
So the updates we can provide today on the new official plan basically have to do with what happened just at the end of May. As you may have followed, we had 3 days of public delegations and questions to staff on something very important called the Growth Management Strategy. That really is the first big piece of what then becomes the new official plan. And the piece that deals with growth management basically says, okay, so we're 1 million people today. We are planning for the next 25 years. We're going to grow by about 400,000 people in the next 25 years, which is about the size of the city of London, Ontario, or 2/3 of Hamilton, if you think about it. So how will we accommodate those 400,000 people? And we had 3 scenarios. The scenarios all needed to conform to a few things. One, obviously, is provincial policy. Provincial policy has just been changed. And in Ontario, we're under the Planning Act, and under the Planning Act, there's something called the Provincial Policy Statement. And that particular policy statement by the province says every city has to plan to have at least 15 years worth of supply of residential ready to go for development. And every city has to plan for intensification, especially around rapid transit. So the 2 big cities, Toronto and Ottawa, that have rail rapid transit, especially considering the investment that those municipalities make in rail rapid transit, have additional emphasis on having density targets around transit stations. But then it adds, your supply has to address market need. That's something new that the Conservative government added to the provincial policy statement. We're the first city to go under that new provincial policy statement, just became effective May 1st. But the way we interpret it is, to be market ready means that you need to provide a range of homes for every type of household. And here we mean single person households, couples, or larger households with children, or larger households that may be multi-generational. So there's a whole team in my branch called Research and Forecasting that does very detailed projections of, okay, those 400,000 new people, how are they going to be broken down in terms of age, type of household, and therefore how much space are they going to need? And therefore from that, we derive a number of housing units, so a number of dwelling units, and then we have to put those on land somewhere. So the three options that we presented to council had to respond to that. The other thing they had to respond to is what council called the 5 big moves. So back in December, we adopted 5 big moves for the official plan. The first one was, we want the majority of new growth to be through intensification. So this is a significant big move because it's a reversal of, I'd say, the past 40, 50 years worth of history where the understanding was basically, we'll encourage intensification, but really, most of the growth is going to be through suburban expansion. Now that flips over. Most new growth will be through intensification, and the residual will be through suburban expansion. So it's a reversal of the trend. And the other big move is that we want most of the trips happening in the city to be through sustainable means of transportation. So transit, walking, biking, but mostly transit given the distance. So it means that we have to up our game in terms of transit. It has to be convenient, has to be frequent, has to be reliable. It has to allow people to function. So that's a journey that we have to follow as well. And as a growing city, it's something that we can't avoid. So the 3 scenarios basically came with a lot of analysis. We ended up obviously recommending one, which we called the balanced scenario. We actually were criticized for picking that word, but it wasn't a word that we picked in order to market it. It's because we had to balance so many different options. We have also a climate change master plan that council adopted and requires that we take steps to reduce our emissions by 100% by 2050. That means a complete elimination of fossil fuel emissions into the atmosphere by 2050. It means transportation. It means also in terms of heating and cooling buildings. In a city, those are the 2 main sources of emissions. So what are we going to do to strive toward that goal? And so the balanced strategy that we recommended has an intensification target that starts at about 40%, which is where we are now in 2020, and ramps it up gradually to 60% by 2046. So that by 2046, 60% of new private dwellings are through intensification, 40% are in suburban areas. So it's kind of a reversal of the 40-60 we have now. It goes to 60-40. In the grand scheme of things, it amounts to an addition that's quite small in terms of land to the urban boundary, but we did recommend an addition of land to the urban boundary. And the addition is in 2 parts. One is 1,280 hectares for new neighborhoods. And new neighborhoods mean obviously houses, but also schools and parks and stores and, recreational facilities and libraries, everything that goes into new neighborhoods. And we want those new neighborhoods to be complete neighborhoods, complete 15-minute neighborhoods where people can have anything that they need on a daily basis within a 15-minute walk. So it's also a new direction on how to build suburban communities. We want them to look and feel and function a lot more like the kinds of neighborhoods you would find in the older parts of the city, which are walkable, really well connected, really mixed in their use. We see a real appetite for people looking for things like that, even in the suburbs. You'd be amazed. Riverside South is a new suburb that we're starting to build up now. Anytime we go to public consultation, there's always people saying, I want to open a business. Where's the main street going to be? I want to own a commercial space. Where's the main street going to be? And so we need to start to build that into how we develop new neighborhoods in the suburbs. So 1,280 hectares for new neighborhoods, and then between 70 and 370 hectares for employment. But here we don't mean office buildings. Office buildings can meld back into the city. They can be on a main street. They can be in, close to a transit station. We mean the kind of industrial space for logistics and warehousing and distribution. What are we going to need to feed 400,000 more mouths in the city? And where's the space going to go for all the trucking, all the warehousing, all the logistics that need to be combined in order to deliver from various points in the city conveniently to the stores and to everything that has to be fed off of trucking and industry. So that's what those hectares are for. We're going to be looking mostly at 400 series highway interchanges. We also want to leverage our central position between Montreal and Toronto. So more and more, trucking is on a one-day basis, and within 1 day of trucking, we can see economic development that would pull a lot of distribution centers to Ottawa because we're in the middle and we can service 3 big cities from the center. And there's a lot of appetite for industrial space in Ottawa for that kind of thing. So this is, again, connected to some of the economic development work that we're doing. So council did adopt that. There's a few things that they adopted along with it. One is when we go out looking for land, so these 1,280 hectares for new neighborhoods, where are those going to be? There's a whole list of criteria. And if you're interested, you can find it online. It's part of the minutes that council adopted. So the first thing we do is eliminate lands that are a no-go. So anything that's environmentally sensitive areas, wetlands, forests that have provincial status or wildlife habitats, aggregates, so sand and gravel pits, all the things that are no touch for urbanization get removed from consideration day one. The other thing that council did is they told us, don't even think about going into agricultural resource land. If your land is agricultural resource in the official plan today, it's out, period. We are not allowed to consider it at all. So we are only looking at lands that are rural, general rural, and actually general natural area as well, because some of the rural natural area are just like scrub and brush. And then we rank them. There's an evaluation that staff, actually we started June 1st at 9 a.m. We started ranking parcels, and we're in the middle of that exercise now. And there's a whole grid with evaluation factors. So transportation wise, how close are you to an existing transit station or an already funded transit station? So obviously looking to spend the least amount of money of new money on growing the city, and then being efficient with the money that we've already put into infrastructure. How is it for pipes, for sewer, water, stormwater? How are the soils? Are you into clay soils? Are you in bedrock? How easy is it to dig, to put the trenches in for the pipes? How connected is it to existing neighborhoods and existing communities? So are we in a position where we're going to be rounding out communities and just, straightening out the jagged edges of some of them? Or are we going sort of out into a new area that's less well connected? So all these are evaluation factors. How close is it to things that people can access right away because they're already built? So we're ranking all the parcels. There's a scoring method, and you can see it. It's been made public, so you can follow along. Obviously, a lot of property owners have inundated us with files about their land and files about their property. And by and large, I mean, we get it. I mean, we receive all that information. If you've got information on geotechnical work that you've done on your land, if you've got information on, natural features or whatever that have been found or identified or mapped on your land, we receive all that. What we don't what we will disregard though is self-scoring. There's a lot of people who started to self-score their parcel based on that grid, and that's something that we don't take. Staff does the scoring just because it has to be fair and uniform. Our engineers have to see it, our transportation people have to see it, our soils people have to see it. So it's done by staff, it's put in a report, and it's presented to council. There's a couple of other exclusions that might be of interest to people. The rural councillors told us to leave a 1 kilometer buffer around villages, except Notre-Dame-des-Champs, which is already surrounded, and some parts of Manotick. So, but for all the other villages, the people who live in those villages felt really strongly that they don't want the city to grow into them and swallow them. So we wanted them to be able to keep that village identity as a rural community, as a rural 15-minute neighborhood, as it were, but to avoid the city sort of creeping into them and swallowing them up. That's actually the story of Orleans and Stittsville and a lot of places that were, you know, standalone communities a long time ago, and sort of the city's grown into them and surrounded them. So there's a real wish, and so that was one of the criteria. So our next steps is to finish that evaluation and prepare all the maps and bundle it with the draft official plan that we're going to release to the public for consultation at the end of November. And at the end of November, you'll be able to see the whole package, the new policies, the new maps, where the new recommended urban area is going to be. And from that point on, there's a consultation period that opens up before council adopts. So maybe I'll just stop here. Maybe I spoke a little bit too much. I'm hoping I'm not shooting off your schedule, but if there's questions, happy to answer them.
Okay, I'll start first with you know, COVID and everybody getting so used to working from home. Are you actually think that the demand that 40% is going to be even higher because of what we just went through or are going through?
Well, I mean, it's hard to say. People need a place to live no matter where they work. And we are still looking at 400,000 new people. I mean, the real question is really, I mean, out of the 400,000, a big majority of those come through immigration. So as long as the border's closed, nobody's immigrating. So how are our projections going to be affected by the slowdown and the influx of people? And that's worldwide. But let's just say that, you know, obviously this is temporary. On a 25-year horizon, this will be a blip and a bad memory for most of us, just like social distancing will be a bad memory one day. We'll be able to get back to normal. But I think there's a lot of trend chasing going around. There's a lot of people writing things, trying to anticipate what the new trends will be. I think personally it's way too early to tell. We're still in the middle of the state of emergency. We know that we have the technology to be able to function remotely, but is that what we want to do? And is that what will be the norm going forward? We don't know. One thing is to be able to do it. The other is, and it's quite another, to generalize it. We can anticipate, though, that if there's more people taking advantage of the ability to work from home, and they're not quarantined, and they're not required to be physically distant, then they're going to want lively neighborhoods with stuff nearby that they can walk to and places to socialize. And so the trend for complete communities in 15-minute neighborhoods, I think, is just going to get stronger if there's more people living in their neighborhoods more of the time.
Yeah. Would you see any insight on what an individual agent could do in order to take advantage of these city decisions and plans?
It's always a good thing to be aware of where the city's going and where we're at in the process. I think it's a competitive advantage for your industry. There's no doubt about it. If you're representing clients that have lands outside the urban boundary wishing to be considered, you can always touch base with us and we can tell you if it's a candidate parcel or not. But generally speaking, I mean, if it's right abutting the urban boundary, it is a candidate parcel. You don't need to ask, we're looking at it. If it's generally within 1 or 1.5 kilometers of the urban boundary, chances are we're looking at it. And then again, it's just the outcome of the scoring will determine if that parcel gets in or not. Now, depending on where you're working, the other side of it is all the new dwelling units that have to go inside of the existing urban area and in the existing neighborhoods. This official plan is going to do things quite differently. One of the things that we're doing is we're changing the names of how we name things. So right now, if you open our maps, our planning maps, you've got a map with a lot of yellow all over the place, and that's called general urban area. And then you've got blue areas that are called employment areas, and you've got other colors that are called mixed use centers. And it's kind of a like a patchwork of colors that show, you know, they seem to suggest that everything has its place. And we're erasing all that. It's more, you know, the city is integrated and we want to plan more by context and by function rather than by land use. So that's one thing we're doing. So general urban will be called neighborhoods, but there can be a lot of different things in a neighborhood. Mixed use centers will be called hubs. That's where you have transit stations. That's where you have jobs, and that's like the mini center of an area. And main streets will stay. We're going to add a number of minor corridors that are not as long. They don't go as far across the city, but they play the function of a corridor inside a neighborhood. And we are looking at providing more development potential in minor corridors and in neighborhoods that are close to transit stations. So all the area that we call the bungalow belt, which is sort of the, you know, 1950s, 60s areas that surround the older pre-war neighborhoods, those really become the focus of this official plan, because those are the neighborhoods that are getting the new stations in stage 2 construction of the LRT. They're the neighborhoods actually that have lost the most population since the 70s and 80s. Some neighborhoods have lost like 60-70% of population. So schools have been closing, stores have been closing, the buses don't run as often. And how do you bring them back, seeing that they're so central now? And the answer to it's not a chicken and eggs proposition. We know what the beginning is. It's more people. You need more people in those neighborhoods. So we will be making more development potential available through this official plan in neighborhoods like that. And how that's going to look, obviously, I mean, we want it to be in step with character and be a good fit. But you won't necessarily see a replica of what's there today in the future.
Cool. Anybody else have any questions for Alain?
You guys are an easy crowd. Come on.
All right.
I love that expression, the bungalow belt. I knew exactly what you were talking about when you mentioned it. Thank you.
Thanks.
Well, thank you very much, Alain. It's so neat to hear all the thought process and the work that goes in behind the scenes to make our city and help grow our city, etc. I always really enjoy hearing your chat. Are you still doing your books, your photo books of historical pictures of Ottawa and stuff?
Not right now. I mean, I've got a big enough book to worry about here at work with the official plan. But you know, I love doing that stuff, and when time permits, maybe something else, but not for right now. But thanks for asking.
No problem.
All right.
Thank you very much, Alain. On behalf of Keller Williams, we really, really appreciate you coming and sharing, and you know, I look forward to the next opportunity where I can invite you back and we can learn again. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Look forward, and thanks for having me.
Thank you. All right, Jill, you're there?
I didn't move. I'm still here.
Jill, I don't think Jill really needs any introduction. He's our Canadian Tech ambassador and the one who is making sure that KW always keeps us top of mind and is implementing all the solutions that we need as Canadians. So thank you very much for that, Jill. I also like to fill Jill's hat in the help that he's done for me personally and for our brokerage and his accessibility and in training and in helping with bringing people on as far as recruiting as well. So thank you very much for that, Jill.
Thank you.
I've asked Jill here today to enlighten us again, and in particular, he's going to be focusing on the command's opportunities section and the opportunities and how it fits in the MREA model. Thank you very much, Jill, and take it away.
All right, thank you, Andrew. So with this short introduction, I just saved half of a Bitcoin. So that's pretty cool. In person, I would have given you $20, but all right. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here. So I recognize a lot of faces. That's pretty amazing. I'm really honored to be here with you today. To your opening, Andrew, I would like to add that friendship doesn't have a color, love doesn't have color, respect doesn't have color, honor doesn't have color. So all the emotions that the human feels is colorless. It's only when we open our eyes that we start judging, right? So if we would all be blind, we would all love each other. You know, we would care each other. So we have to keep that in mind. And just to show you the depth of our company, Keller Williams, Josh Team and Gary Keller announced this morning that moving forward from this year on, Juneteenth is officially a paid holiday for all KWRI staff. So just to honor that specific, you know, that amazing day in their history, and I think it shows that we care, and I'm proud to be part of that company, and so should you. So with that, when Andrew reached out to me and wanted to share a little bit of my time with you, I was thinking, what topic should I select to be entertaining? And it came to my mind a story that I want to share. I've sold and bought 8 different houses in my life so far. It's not the end of it, right? However, it has happened with 8 different agents. Holy smokes, why is that? Am I such a turbulent person? Nobody cared to stay in touch with me? Or is it just these agents always chasing the hot leads? And once they're done with me, just move on to something else, right? Well, the MREA book teaches us to nurture our past clients. When we talk about lead gen, we're not just talking about Facebook leads. We're talking about lead gen our own database. So I was on a call just before this call where there's a group in the United States that when they decided to move to Command, they had 30,000 contacts. So they hired a company to clean up all the data, eliminate the duplicates, and so on. And they ended up with 19,000 good contacts in Command. And then they hired a company to start calling these people because we need to confirm their phone numbers, their address, their email, and everything. In less than a month, they have signed, I noted down here, 51 agreements just by doing that exercise. And this is a story that I hear over and over and over again, that when you move your data to Command and you take the time to reach back to your clients, care calls, you know, updating their information, etc. You know what? When you ask them, what are your plans for your real estate plan for the next 6 months? I'm so happy you called me. Timing is everything. Well, if you don't call, you'll never know, right? So the MREA model is extremely important. It's important to follow. So if you want, do I have control of the slides?
No, I do. You go Bing, and I'll push.
Okay, so can you move?
Banner, yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. So the MREA. So create business for life, one customer at a time. So keep in mind that when you consider either a past client as a lead, and you have that in mind, or a Facebook lead coming in, think about the long term. Don't think like these 8 agents that did not follow up with me, because if the first one had follow up, he would have done 8 deals with me instead of 1, right? So if I reach out to a lead and I nurture that lead moving forward, I couldn't, and we know that there's a cycle, okay? So can you move forward?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so here's the lead generation model. The top portion we all understand, prospecting and marketing, don't we? We know what it's all about, right? There's so many ways of prospecting and marketing, brand awareness, you know, chasing sellers and buyers, etc. Once they come in your database, you either have a lead or a contact. Can someone, you guys are all expert, right? So can someone tell me what the difference is between a lead and a contact? Nobody's willing to.
A lead you haven't connected with yet. It's a contact once you've connected with them.
Correct. So a lead is someone that made contact with you. It's a one-way communication. You don't know much about that person. Is he a buyer? Is he a seller? Is he a short-term, mid-term? You have not qualified the lead. But the moment that you qualify the lead, that lead becomes what? An opportunity, a contact and an opportunity. So contacts are people that you have had relationship, bidirectional. So you have engaged, you have communicated, so you know what they're all about. Once you qualify the lead or you have a contact, you see what's below it? It's called the cultivate phase. This is a gold mine. So Matt, because you talked, I'm going to put you on stage here. It's too bad you don't have your dog with you anymore. All right. So how many years have you been in the business?
3.
3 years. Okay. How many past clients do you have? Give me a rough number.
80 to 100.
100. Okay. If I was to ask you today, what is the business value of those 80 people if they did a transaction next month? Do you know what that value would be? i.e., what I'm asking you is, what is the value, not this month or not this year, but the real, true value of your business? Potential value.
So you're talking about like we're going to use the 10 grand. I don't like using 10 grand, but we'll use the 10 grand, right? That's $800,000.
It's $800,000. Okay. So
Over the next 7 years, if you want to think of it that way, if everybody buys at some point over the next 7 years, or one person refers, if you consider they're going to buy and sell and refer me to one other person, then it's 1.6 mil.
That's correct. So you're referring to the cycle, which is 7 years, which was observed that it's shrinking. It used to be 7, then it went to 5, and now it's getting below 5. And in some areas, it's getting even to 3 years. Right? Because people have have a family, they get kids, and then they move to a bigger place, a bigger house. So that's been observed that where it used to be 7 years, the norm is now more around 5 years.
I believe the average marriage is supposed to be average is 7 years. Right? So that's another one. And with COVID, it might have been 3 months. I'm not sure.
Well, COVID, remember, okay, it could be hard on marriage, but it could be hard on the family as well, because out of COVID, you're going to have a lot of kids, man. A lot of kids.
You're going one way or the other, one way or the other.
Yeah, there you go. And also, so think about COVID. Now people have learned to work from home. Companies have learned how to save money by having their employees working from home. So if you now work from home and you need an office in your home and your current house doesn't offer you that, then you're going to start thinking and planning to move. So to me, I think commercial real estate is going to have a downtrend, where residential real estate is going to have an uptrend. Anyway, I'm not a real estate agent. I don't have your expertise, but my inner sense tells me that. Can you move to the next slide, please?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So that model is the logical MREA model. And guess what? I'm going to make you discover that Command has been built, what? To support that model. That's exactly how Command was built. Command was not built to be so strange that we would not recognize the system and models that have made who we are. I mean, we're still the biggest, largest real estate company in the world, right? So there has to be a reason for that. So when you start using Command, it's all the pieces that are seeing the light of day are being connected together. And now we're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And it's not a train, believe me. All right. So can you move to the next slide? All right. Again, that's your client's journey.
3 to 7 years.
So, Andrew, you're a real estate agent. Do you want to have me for 1 deal or for 5 deals?
I want you to have you for 5 deals. Well, 8.
Right.
There's been 8.
Yeah. So if you have a database, 8. Well, you might not have that chance, because I might not buy 800 houses in my life. But if you have a database of 500 past clients, that's a fortune. Right? So when you look at your business and you say, okay, where does my money come from? So look at last year. Where did your business come from? Your past clients or your Facebook leads? Or, you know, on average, from all the interviews that we do, revenue comes from 80 to 90% from past clients and 5, 10 to 15% from new leads. Yet, most of you are spending 80% of your time and budget chasing new leads. There's a disconnect there. Pick up the phone and call your past clients. Do the care calls, and you'll be just shocked to see how much business you can generate out of that, right? So I'm going to show you how to use opportunities to recycle them. All right, so leads to contact. Number one, you get a lead either from Facebook, from a Google campaign, from an ad, from an event. The number one thing you have to do is qualify that lead. That is you. You need to qualify. There are scripts that exist that will help you. You know, there's a group in Toronto. We had them as guests on our call on Monday, where they invested $1,000 in 1 month, generated 700 leads, of which 650 were good leads, 17 appointments, 7 deals closed already. That was last month.
Sandy McKay, isn't it?
Sandy McKay, close to $100,000 GCI. But if you see that, that means you're looking at the short term. You're being narrow vision, because the bigger picture is that $100,000 GCI times 5 over the next number of years. That's $500,000. That's beside the referrals, and that's beside the other 640 that have not yet generated an appointment. But now that these 600 and some are contacts, they need to be nurtured. All right, so.
I just want to add, I heard Josh Team say in an interview that in the studying that they're doing in the AI, the leads that get brought in, get turned into contacts, get put into, and then are nurtured properly, have the exact same conversion ratio where they come in from Facebook or from a Meet, or it doesn't matter where they're coming from as far as putting in the contact when you're following up with them properly. Doesn't matter if they come from social media or someone you met at the grocery store or someone you referred, they actually have a very similar conversion ratio apparently.
Absolutely. So I see people having a very high conversion ratio while others have very low conversion ratio. And there's 2 things related to that. Your ad and your scripts. That's it. Because if I see a Facebook ad and I click, I'm interested, I am interested on that moment. It's up to the agent then to follow up ASAP and engage into a conversation based on on a sound script to get me interested. Okay, so can we move to the next one?
Yep.
Can I throw one thing in for
Go
the new
ahead,
agents? So for those who don't know, I've only been in the business 3 years, but last year I did 33 deals. 97% came from Sphere and past clients. Was it really my past clients? No, I've only been in for 3 years. They haven't bought and sold again. So just don't get discouraged, because a lot of times we just use the words past clients. When you have these past clients, it means this. If you're new to the business, it just means people in your database that know you and trust you and will let you help or refer you. So it's just as relevant even if you've never done a deal, but you stay in contact with the people you do and you're adding people to that every day. So I just want to throw that in.
Thank you, Matt. It's such a great distinction there, because we should use SOI, sphere of influence, which includes past clients, friends, and people that that you have contacts, so you know of them, about them. So yeah. All right. So once you create an opportunity in the cultivate phase, you need to nurture these clients, and then you need to move these opportunities from cultivate to active, under contract, and then close. So as you move them along in your opportunities, you're going to build checklists, right? To remind you, what do I have to do when I move an opportunity from cultivate, okay, to appointment? What are the things that I need to do outside of command and within command? I need to submit my documents. I need to put a sign in front of the house. I need to put a Facebook ad. I need to add my contact, that client, to a nurture neighborhood smart plan. There are things that you have to do. So you need to build those checklists. So can you move forward? Okay. So move opportunity, etc. So keep going. Next one, next slide. I've done that already. All right. What about the past client? So let's assume I now had a lead on Facebook or someone in my database that I had an appointment. I signed a listing agreement. I got an offer, which is under contract, and then it closed. What do I do with that? It just goes back to as a contact? Or now that I sold that person a $750,000 home, knowing that that client will most likely, based on the cycle, do a new transaction within the next 3 to 5 years, my suggestion is twofold. Number one, make sure that when you get to the close phase, that you have a checklist that reminds you of what you need to do to keep nurturing that client. Just don't let it go and back into your client, because you're gonna forget about it. Or the second option is you recreate a new opportunity, cultivate stage where your past clients are there, and that way you already know the value of that house, of that eventual opportunity, is $750,000. It sits at 0% probability because you just sold a house. However, if you had your 100 clients there, Matt, you would have a pretty solid value on your entire business opportunity. So when you look at your leads, you're going to say, okay, here are and I'll show it to you because I've done it. Here's the value of my Facebook leads and campaign leads opportunity, and here's the value of my SOI opportunities. I guarantee you, when you have that in front of your eyes, I know where you're going to shift focus on your efforts. You're going to shift it to your SOI, believe me, because that's where the money is. Now, it's always good to have new leads to, repopulate your database and still grow your database. But never forget about those who made you revenues. Can we move it? All right. So if you do that, you will always have full visibility of your past clients' business potential. You will always consider a lead as a potential lifetime revenue stream and not just one of, right? Mm-hmm. If I'm a client of yours, I'm expecting a number of things. Okay, if you help me do the biggest transaction in my life, I expect you to ask me for a testimonial when it goes firm. About 1% of you do. Okay, yet we are surveyed if we buy a $10 thing on Amazon, but when you guys do a $500,000, $600,000 deal, you don't survey your clients. Oh, okay. And yet 100% of your clients expect to be surveyed. So you can get testimonials and referrals right there when it goes firm. And then I would expect to keep hearing from you over time. Not in an abusive manner, but I would expect that. And I would like it because we've done business together. You're my friend. So don't be shy to nurture your past clients. That's the money, okay? Okay, go ahead. Next one. Okay.
You want me to open this or no?
Yeah, I'm gonna open it. So I'm gonna start sharing.
Okay, I'll make you the host.
Okay, please.
Okay.
Yep.
Gilles, can I just ask you to mention I was making some notes about the checklist. It's a great idea. Some people may not know what you mean by SP.
Smart plans.
Yeah.
Smart plans and command.
So that's a whole other kettle of fish.
Okay.
So I'm still sharing my screen. Do you want me to get off my?
No, I'm fine. Sorry, you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
All right. So if I take you to my opportunities. Okay, so I'm going here, I'm going to cultivate. So I have a lead watch, lead nurture, lead hot. So those are for my Facebook leads. I'm going to move them around there within those phases, those stages. But I also have my SOI, watch, nurture, and hot. Same thing. I distinguish the two, right? So when I look at the bottom here, okay, probable, potential. But when I look at my overall pipeline, it's going to show me the volume. So if I see that I have $80 million potential volume with my SOI versus 10,000 in my leads, you know, when I wake up in the morning, the one thing I would do is start calling these people, start nurturing these people. Okay, so for example, you've been a past client of mine, and I've been moving you to those stages, and I'll show you the checklist that I've built. Once I am at year number 3, chances are it would be a good time to do a market analysis on your property to see what kind of equity you have. Remember, I'm the one who managed to help you buy your house, or sell your house. So I know how much was your mortgage on. I know how much money, how much the value of the houses in your neighborhood, how much they've grown. So in my life, I have a financial advisor for my RRSPs and placements, right? Investments. How come I don't have an advisor for the biggest investment in my life, which is my house? Right? I would like 3 years from now, after I bought, if Andrew would call me up and say, hey, Gilles, hey, how are you? You know, doing through all the chats. And then, by the way, I have some amazing news. Did you know that your house equity is now at $250,000? That's pretty amazing. I don't know if you knew about it, but what are your plans for the future? Are you planning to downsize, to upsize, to invest? We could use that equity on your house to play with the money, you know? So you're generating the business yourself. So the only thing that you have to do is you create an opportunity. When I sold prior to that, I created an opportunity with my checklists. So how does those checklists look like? Where is it? I believe it's here. So cultivate, this is a checklist I would put in. My past clients, or SOI, as Matt just said. So when I move you back, so the deal has just been closed, I create a new opportunity with the same contact, that property address, and boom, the checklist tells me, okay, Gilles, you need to add that person to a 33 Touch Smart Plan. That's a must. You have to add that person to a home anniversary smart plan. You have to add that person to your semi-annual newsletter. Remember, we just did a deal. I want to stay in touch, but I don't want to be in his living room, right? I just want to stay connected. And reminder to move to next stage a year from now. That's a task. So you create a task in command, okay? Reminder, move that opportunity to the next stage. You can automate all of that instead of Post-its and playing with your memory. So next one is, okay, now it's year 2. That person is now used to the neighborhood, is used to this environment. Add into the monthly neighborhood nurture smart plan. Add to the 33 touches there. Quarterly, now instead of twice a year, 4 times a year, you're gonna get my newsletter. Quarterly callback, stay in touch, and reminder to move to the next stage a year from now. You see how you automate your process? And then on year 3, you remove from monthly neighborhood nurture, you put it on bi-weekly, so twice a month. You add to monthly newsletter to get him more, more closely informed. And then you do remind you to do a market analysis, and based on your finding, then you call the client. All right. So for your leads, these checklists would be different, right? So that's what I'm doing. So those that are in red are of things that I think that should be added to anybody's checklist. Anybody, all of you guys. So having opportunities in command is being able to manage your business, right? Knowing where you need to pay attention. Build those checklists and be diligent, build them. It doesn't matter if there are 30 items in there. It's okay. That way you will never forget something. Here at the top, I have client update and guides. These are all connected. Are you guys familiar with the consumer guide in command that is connected with your website and your KW application? Okay, what are the guides? The guide is, I have a buyer guide, I have a seller guide, in which I will customize to be my own, and I'm gonna tell my client, this is what I'm gonna do at that phase. This is what you're gonna do. This is what I'm gonna be doing, okay? So you are giving instructions to your clients of what they need to do and of what you are going to do. One story I share all the time is when I started Fall Tour many years ago, I didn't even know what the letters MLS stood for. So that's the truth. My idea of a real estate agent was an opportunity seeker, right? He would come home, convince me to list my home at a price that he thinks is good. He would walk away, would come back with an offer, convincing me to accept the offer, even if that's not the price I wanted. And then I would see him again at the lawyer for his commission check. I thought to myself, I think I could do that, right? I didn't have a clue, absolutely no idea. And still to this day, 99% of your clients don't have a clue of what you do, right? Do you agree with me?
Yeah.
Yes or yes, right?
Absolutely.
Nobody knows. They all think that you're a fortune maker. That's an easy job. They don't know what you do. So here's the thing. The client update is a new feature in command where you could you could configure in command any one of those checklist items. When you mark it as completed, the very next day, your client will get an automated email letting them know that that item has been completed. I've done this for you. I've done that for you. I've done that for you. That means staying in emotional proximity with your client, right?
I think I like that.
Yeah, it is so true that we have testimonials from agents that are saying, my client just called me and say, are you serious? You're doing all of this for me? Yep, I didn't know you were doing this. So that's the time for you, by working opportunities, working your checklists, syncing that with client updates, and then with your guides. Because if you're saying in your checklist, I've done this and I've done that, you want that to be part of your guides, because this is what I'm going to do for you. This is what I'm going to do for you. And you just list them out. And then as it happens, command informs your client that it's happening at the same time. Isn't that amazing?
I think the number one issue that most clients feel is a lack of communication. I think that would solve a lot of that problem.
100%. 100%. Why did Uber saw the light of day? It's not because it's a better ride.
It's because it's to every process, how close they are to your house, etc.
It's the same thing. It's if I order a pizza, that's the Josh team story. If I order a pizza, I know it's going to take about half an hour. If I call back the pizzeria, I just want to know where the damn pizza is. I just want to know. That's what Uber solved that problem, because you can monitor where your car is. Is it near me or not, right? That's what they solve. It's information on demand that your clients want, right? It's not a realtor on demand. So if you set command, your opportunities, your checklists, and your guides all in sync, your clients will call you very rarely. They will be happy. They will love you because they will understand what you do for them. And they will never again, search to go on Comfree. Because they will understand the depth of the work that is required, right?
Yeah.
So when you build your checklist, be sensitive on how the wording that you put there, because those items that will go to your client, you want to make sure that, you know, the wording is makes sense, they understand, and it's good English, right? So that was any question? No questions whatsoever. Okay, let me look at if we have in conversation, do we have anything? Okay. Great point. All right. So I don't see any questions. I don't think I was that good.
You're good.
So be aware. I want to monitor my SOIs, my past clients. You have two choices. Like I see here in my, once you close, okay, you can create a new cultivate opportunity and move to the appropriate stage. If you know that I'm a frequent buyer, a frequent seller, I might be shorter than 3 years. So you might want to set me up to the right stage. Or you can add items to this checklist, to the closed checklist, as a reminder, okay, before this opportunity disappears, make sure that you put that client on a monthly neighborhood smart plan, on my newsletter smart plan, on a home anniversary smart plan. So the items that you would find up here are reflected down here. So those are two ways. So if you have 5,000 past clients, that might be a little bit overwhelming to put 5,000 opportunities in command, right? Mm-hmm. But you need to make sure you nurture these clients. I hope I'm making that clear. That's where the money is.
Joe, we've had a couple people ask us for this spreadsheet. Now, the links that are in the slideshow, do they link to the spreadsheet as well?
Yeah, it should, absolutely.
Okay, so we're definitely going to be sharing the slideshow. If you don't mind, and I'll definitely share the like, I won't make you have to go through the slideshow to find the link. I'll make sure I download it from the link in the slideshow myself, and I'll include that on our resources page. You'll see it in their next pivot email update. So everybody will be able to access these things from there as well as this video of the sales meeting as well. So
yeah.
Okay.
So in closing, Andrew, I would say that command is not your fortune. Command is the path to clarity. If you work with command the right way, it's going to make your life so much easier and your revenue so much bigger, right? Mm-hmm. Because you're going to know where to focus, and that's so key, right? Not to be all over the map, but to be focused the one thing. Remember that, the one thing.
Yeah. So we do have the question here on where do we go to find video on how to make checklists. So I'll take the first stab of answering that, and then you can do a better job after. If you go to our resources page, you can find, I believe it's 15 different videos of Gilles going through command from beginning to end in all the different sections. If I was to put you on the spot, Gilles, and say, which video teaches checklists, would you know that off the top of your?
Yeah, just give me a second. If I go here, my training would be opportunities, days 9, 8, and 7.
9, 8, and 7. Well, that's
yeah, 7, 8, and 9.
click. Step-by-step training on how to use opportunities. Day 7, 8, and 9. As you can see, he's got all a 15-day cycle. It itemized what he's teaching on each day. Now, can I steal my screen? Can I steal you want to make me host again, please? I think I can take it.
Yeah, sure. All I'll have to do is just stop sharing. You can share.
Okay. So I was not planning to do this, but okay, host disabled. Yes, I need to make myself host. So let's.
Yeah, you could have made me co-host for the next time. You just made the other person co-host.
Okay. All right. So now I'm host again. So yes, I'm gonna go screen share.
So I would like to know while you do that,
Okay.
is anyone on the call right now that's using Opportunity at the highest level? So just say yes. So unmute yourself and say yes. So I hear no. Right? So
How about
you're,
8.5 out of 10?
that's great, Lisa.
And I would say I'm like a 6.5 to 7. I like opportunities.
Amazing. Oh, I know someone who stays in silence, who uses them really high level, is Mr. Richer. So he's just playing humble right now. All right.
So I'll be able to see my screen. On a very, very, very regular basis, we're sending these pivot emails that you see right here. When you click on anything in red in these emails, it'll take you to a resource page where we have all of this in detail. But for example, if you clicked on past recordings, command training right there. So these are all the recordings of all the past training. That would take you to the resource page where it's going to take you directly to the link. Okay, it's going to do it. I believe it. I believe it.
It should.
And what I'm going to do, Andrew, is I'm going to share with you 2 more links where we have training videos of other Market Center Tech trainers like Ryan Turnbull, Kyle Craig, and other people who have recorded their training, because you're going to have different angles and different tips when you watch them.
Okay, perfect. So here took us right to where we need to click to see all of those 15 sessions. Now, let's say you didn't want to look for that pivot email. You go kwintegrity.ca/resources. It takes you to this website. You can't find this website by clicking on things within the kwintegrity.ca site, because we don't want just the general public just stumbling on it. This is for you guys, right? It isn't private because I want to be able to share it with recruits and all that stuff. Like, so anybody can get to it, but they need to know to do /resources to get there. Okay. But this is where we're trying to put everything that you need. It's all summarized at the top, so you can hop right down to where you want to be. And we put the date on the last time we made a change to it. So you could look at a glance and say, yeah, I've seen all that stuff. Is there anything new since May, whatever, the last time that you're on it? We also try to change the order that the menu shows and the actual content is, so it's most relevant or most recent at the top. Okay.
That is amazing, Andrew.
Thank you. We're trying to keep that as a one-stop. Everything that you ever needed is right here. Make it easy for you to find. Okay.
You're the second Market Center I see so well organized.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
It's for the benefits of all of your associates. That's incredible.
I noticed that Sunny is here. I just wanted to welcome Sunny. Sunny, you want to say hi, or are you just kind of here, pretending to be here? I see your name.
Yeah, he was driving.
I'm here. I'm here. It's just that I'm in the car. I put my video on, so I am listening to everything. So, hey, everyone.
Hey.
We're very happy that.
Hi, Sunny. I thought about saluting you, but I just forgot it at the beginning.
Yeah.
Nice
So I'm
to-
driving. That's why I took my video. I'll take my video back off again, but I've unmuted myself.
Are you on your way to
Very-
Ottawa?
I'm actually was in Ottawa. Just was here all day yesterday and did some stuff, and then I'm heading back right now to Toronto.
Well, we appreciate you joining us, Sunny. Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So anybody have any more questions for Gilles on this topic, or anything else for that matter that he can enlighten us on with command?
Patricia, she's talking, but she's muted. No?
Okay.
I got a question.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we do.
I know I spoke with Kendra about this a little bit, but I'm still not
clear. So I'm relatively new and I'm loading some papers onto Command, the documents. And I did some in the morning and then I went away, and then in the afternoon I wanted to load more, but it didn't allow me. And Kendra did explain that maybe there's, I can't do that unless the first batch has been approved, but is there a working area that I could load? And to me, it doesn't make sense that I just can't keep loading and sending it to MC.
No, the approval process does not really matter at that point because you're trying to upload documents. You will not be able to upload a second version of a document if that document is under approval.
So it's
But you
not
will
a
be-
second version though, it's just other documents that I want to send off and it won't let me. And I'm just wondering, is that a glitch?
I don't think so.
No, I think
So
you
here-
can
so
add
here's-
more documents. You just can't hit submit to Market Center again
Correct.
because it's already been submitted. But you should be able to still add more documents.
But when she adds more documents, does she not need to hit submit again because they're automatically added once it's
She can't because the first batch hasn't been checked yet. So as far as our admin department goes, they will check everything that's there when they go into it.
Yeah, so Patricia,
They will see, yeah. So they will see the latest document you've uploaded even after you've submitted.
Oh, so I don't, okay. All right, that's good to know.
So
'Cause
you
it doesn't
upload
say
two-
that it was submitted. That's why it's like a mystery. I need to know.
So you upload three documents and you hit submit.
Yep.
And then that sends a notification to your compliance officer
Okay.
to review the file.
Okay.
And in the meantime, you add 4 new documents.
Yeah.
When your compliance officer go in to look, she will see 7 documents.
Okay. All right.
You're not actually submitting the documents themselves. You're submitting the file to review.
Got it. Okay. Thank
Hope
you.
this helps. Pleasure.
That's a good question, Patricia. Thank you, Patrice.
Patricia.
Patricia.
Thank you.
I guess you have to.
There's only how many? 3,000 agents. It's okay, Andrew.
You guys, do you use web forms to fill in your kits?
Yes.
And how do you get those forms how do you get them signed?
DocuSign.
DocuSign. So how do you send them to DocuSign?
Right now, most of them are going through web forms.
Okay, so from
Email.
web forms, you fill in your kits, and how do you send them back to you?
DocuSign is integrated into our web forms.
Right, okay, so you're using that link.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right. Okay, so if that's all, so I'm gonna.
Can I ask you a question, Jill?
Yes, go ahead, Matt.
We have opportunities because we're talking about opportunities, but when you're looking at a contact, you have market as a lead, add to sales pipeline. What does the sales pipeline do? Because it doesn't create an opportunity and it doesn't mark it as a lead. What does that box do?
If you when you check marks add to sales pipeline, when you save, it should open up an opportunity.
Yeah, it didn't. I'm in the process of doing it right now, and I'm manually creating the opportunity.
Yeah, I've never had it open an opportunity. Okay.
So that's what it used to do. I haven't used that link in a long time, that option in a long time.
It's
So
just a
let me-
checkbox, but I never knew what the checkbox was supposed to do. So, okay. Thanks, Joe.
Yeah. But
So
it has to.
send me a little email when you investigate that, and I'll put it in our update email.
Right. So what I did, I just did it. So when I click add to sales pipeline, when I saved it, it just took me to the opportunity dashboard. So before it used to just open up an opportunity. So maybe they've changed something or something is broken. So I'll investigate.
You have a special version. Because yeah,
So-
I just did it and it didn't do anything, and I had to manually create the opportunity.
I think that's
Okay,
what he's
so-
saying, though.
Okay.
All right, so I can't share my screen. I would have shown you. So when I click add to sales pipeline, I saved the contact. It just opens up my opportunity dashboard.
Yeah, so
It
it's the same
doesn't
as
do-
us. That's what he's saying. He's saying it's the same as us. It just opens up the
Same.
dashboard. It doesn't open up a new opportunity. So we're all dealing
Correct.
with the same problem.
Correct, because in reality, if you say add to sales pipeline, that's what you want to do.
Yeah. So
Right.
in the future,
So-
I'm sure that they're going to be working back on auto-filling an opportunity with the information from the lead so that it's less work, probably, correct?
Yeah.
At one point?
Yeah, it's just to eliminate the number of clicks, right? You
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
you say, okay, I've just talked with the person over the phone. I unmark it as a lead. I want to add to the sales pipeline. Boom, it opens up an opportunity. Mind you, it's not a big bug because you can just save it and then create a new opportunity from a number of places. But still, if it's supposed to work, it's supposed to work.
Yeah.
Right?
Thank you very much, Joe. We very much appreciate all the effort that you put into bringing all these amazing tools for us, making sure that they're working. You're always available for questions, and you've helped us enormously. So thank you very much, Joe, for all that.
Okay, my pleasure. And I would ask you one last thing. Well,
Okay.
not you, but to all of you. Could you take me to the challenge of tomorrow or the day after tomorrow? Work with Wendy and Andrew and Kendra. All of you right now. Can you all spare $20? If you can spare $20 to generate revenue for life, I would ask you tomorrow or the next day, all of you create a Facebook campaign. You don't have a listing? Ask others. There's a lot of people in your office with listings.
Create
Here's
a
what's gonna happen.
campaign to get leads because it's going to blow your mind.
Yeah. Okay. We have other brand agents calling our agents saying, "What in the hell are you guys doing?" All we see on Facebook are Keller Williams ads. So what are you doing? These are the digital signs. These are the property signs of the future. So if all of you together tomorrow put a $20 ad, you're gonna flood Ottawa.
Oh, yay.
So,
And-
Gilles,
Yes.
Gilles, that would be in your command training on how to set up a Facebook ad, right? In one of the
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's
And
also, if anybody wants to watch our last sales meeting, the very beginning of that sales meeting, Kirby Chan goes over his Facebook playbook and does a short little tutorial on how to do a Facebook ad in that as well. So that's also.
there is that one, and there's also the recipe of Anna, the Sandy Mickey's group. It's much simpler than Kirby, and they're generating amazing leads.
Can I trouble you to send me that recording?
Yep.
And I'll put it on the pivot email.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if all of you push an ad tomorrow or 2 days from now, all together, I mean, not only are you going to flood Ottawa, but other agents from other offices are going to say, how come our ads are not being pushed like Keller Williams? What are they doing? Believe me, they're going to reach out. They're going to reach out. And not only that, now the consumers, the only thing they're going to see is Keller Williams. They're going to think, oh, Keller Williams has taken over the market.
Yeah.
Let's find a Keller Williams
Not to
agent.
mention the amount of leads you all see it show up in your individual.
100%. But we have to do it together.
Right.
We have to do that together. All right. So can you take me up on that challenge?
We'll push it. We'll incorporate.
Don't try.
I've been
do it.
procrastinating for the last 2 weeks, Gilles, so I will finally post my first ad in the next 24 hours. Done.
There
I
is
got
no
my-
try. There is no try.
Yeah. And
Thank you.
generate one
Holding
revenue
me
for
accountable.
life. All right. Thank you, guys.
All right.
Have a great day. So I'm leaving right now.
Thanks, Joe.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Andrew,
Yes.
I'm happy to walk anybody through how to post an ad quickly anytime too, if they want to text me or call me.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Caroline. Kyle, how you doing, Kyle? We'll try that again. Kyle, how are you doing, Kyle?
I gotta
Total
unmute
blackout
myself.
in Orleans.
Yeah, that's just typical Miller. That's what I do. Yeah, I live in the dream. How's everybody else? Everybody's looking good. I keep looking at that picture and I'm like, oh, I wish I had hair like that. My barber won't open yet. It's killing me. The mop. But if that's the worst thing that happens, it's a good day. So that's fine. Yeah, so this is gonna be quick because nothing's going on in mortgages at all. But anyway, I can't hear everybody's belly laughs on that joke, but that's fine. So going through a couple things. Obviously, the big news is that CMHC was making a big change to everything and GDS, TDS ratios. I posted the video on the KW Facebook page, which was well received. So I hope it was clear enough. I know it's long. I'm wordy. You guys know that. If anybody wants to talk about that more, by all means, reach out. The big thing to understand is I see not necessarily KW, but agents posting stuff like real estate agents and even mortgage brokers posting stuff like CMHC's making changes and we're all falling off cliff. Better buy this weekend. And I get that it can spin, that you can use it to create urgency. Just be careful with it though, because as much as it will generate some buzz, there's a lot of people that are buying right at the top of these ratios because car loans suck and they make ratios higher than they need to be. And the God honest truth is that CMHC is not the only game in town. It is not necessarily going to kill anything. The real big thing is we just have to look at everybody's numbers. And before COVID, it was like this. During COVID, it was like this. After COVID, it's going to be like this. So, you know, keep everything going. Let them know that there is other options out there. Are other options out there, and they're not the only game in town. And that's a big thing to know. Couple things with COVID and what's happening and how financing's working. As we start to slowly open up, one thing I've started to see, or even during COVID, what I've seen is if people feel like they're working more, they want to use that income, right? So as people start to open up, we're going to see, you know, people are like, yeah, I'm going back to work in a month, and be like, so let's go buy now. And it's not that that's not possible, but we need to really focus people into getting the right documentation. Sorry, hold on a sec. Madison, can you turn that down? Yeah, thanks. There we go. So we really need to focus people into getting the right documentation. It's more important now than ever. Like, we need letters when they're coming back. We're most likely going to need people to show that they're actually back at work to do that. So again, documentation is really, really key in what we're doing and what we're going through now. And we still have a lot of lenders asking for like everything up front, which we want anyways, because I don't know, seems like there's multiple still going on out there, like a little bit. So because of that, the more guarantee we have, the easier it is on you guys. I will give props to a lot of agents who are having a lot more conversations with me about the deals and about the client situation, because we are working through together. I'll use two actually, Chris Nash for one and Crystal Cameron for another. Crystal and I have probably had a couple conversations well into an hour each, not necessarily on a specific deal, but just her diving into what about this and what about this and what do I need to worry about and stuff. And it's good to know that, because you are their go-to. Yes, you refer them to me or the bank or whoever, and they want to call us, but you guys are accessible sometimes more than we are. So to know some of those nuances is good, and to dig in is good. Chris and I are working on a deal right now, and we went through plans A through F on how to make sure this is going to work and that the clients are safe and ready to rock and roll. So that is good, and it just shows the care and compassion you guys have, and that we don't want to get people into a lot of trouble. Not a lot, any trouble.
Kudos to you too, Kyle, for taking that time. Thank you.
Oh, and you know what? I think, and this isn't a complaint. The amount of people that call me on a Saturday and a Sunday, right? One, that means you're doing business, which is great. And two, if I'm picking up the phone, that means I'm glad, like I want to. So don't be shy to do that. You need answers, and you need to get this stuff, especially on these timelines, right? So if it's me and you're working with me, great. If it's not me and that person's not picking up the phone, I don't know, think twice. Maybe that's because you need those responses these days. I truly believe that. You need those responses. So that was that. So yeah, coming out of COVID, that's that. What else? A couple things maybe for some of the newer agents, or maybe if just people just forgot, because it's come up a couple times. So I just want to throw it out there. Just, this might seem trivial, but remember, the deposits that people put down, that's part of their down payment. Okay? So that is part of it. Now, one good tip to know about that is when people are like, yeah, I'll get the deposit, no big deal. And I see agents are pushing for bigger deposits, makes you more serious, makes the offer more, like robust. I like it. But they can't just go take it from their line of credit, right? They can. It just becomes shitty later. So if we can communicate with that, right? Like we need to communicate where that's coming from. If you need to go in on an offer and be like, yeah, we're throwing 20 G's at this right away because we want this. We want to talk about where that's coming from because it can get a little dicey down the road depending on the deal. So people think it's fine, right? But I also know that things aren't fine. So the communication there, but remember that is part of the down payment. So it's not extra, it's part of what you're bringing to the table. Lots of questions on raw land lately. And the quick idea on raw land, you're probably looking at like 50% down payment on average, right? That's what most of the lenders will do. If you're building on it in the next year, 6 to 12 months, we can probably do something different, maybe 35% down, but they're not hugely excited about raw land. But if you want to talk about it, obviously reach out, we'll have a conversation. And
I have a question.
Yeah.
Question, raw land. I have the situation and I can't even remember. Raw land, is there HST on it or does it depend on who's buying it?
For HST purposes?
Yeah. So if I'm buying a vacant land, is there HST? Or if the builder is buying the vacant land, is there HST? Because we had that issue, and honestly, I don't remember what the end game was.
That's a question for an accountant, actually, really, because the CRA has big rules around HST on raw land. So there's a paper that Mike actually found for us, and I'll post it on the Facebook page about GST and HST on land.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that works. That works.
Can you send me your Facebook video in a format I can upload to our resources website too? Because I can't download it from Facebook.
I can try, yeah, for sure. I'm sure the technology is available, I'm sure. So I'll figure that out and send it to you.
Cool.
Another thing too, I definitely appreciate the people who fight hard to refer me. It shows the trust that we have with each other, which is great. And not just, here's this guy, one of 6 or people I can recommend to you. I appreciate that. I know you guys have rules around that. So again, I appreciate when I am one of those 3. But one thing to know too is that I have an email today from a referral actually from KW, and it was the guy was like, yeah, I don't really want to. I'm gonna give you all this info, but I don't really want you to run my credit. But tell me exactly what I can do. I can't do that. I can't do it. I can't honestly tell you without looking at your credit, because it's amazing how many people don't know what their credit situation is and how bad Credit Karma actually is. Like, don't be cheap. Pay the $7, buy your credit score, and then be legit, because Credit Karma doesn't necessarily match up all the time. And the argument, well, the objection I get is people are like, well, I've already been here. I've done 3. You're going to be the 3rd credit check. My credit score is going to tank. The truth is that's not true. It used to be true. And then Equifax kind of got on this deal where they basically, for simplicity, let's look at a mortgage credit check and everything else, right? And what they do is if you get 3, and they code them differently on the back end, and if you get 3 mortgage checks or more done in like a 30-day period, it's not an exact science, but in a 30-day period, your credit score does not drop. If you went to a car dealership and got 7 different checks for 7 different lenders, then your credit score could drop. So I'm telling people that all the time, that it's not going to affect your credit, because mortgage credit checks are actually calculated differently. They're rolled into one, essentially. That's the short version of the story. So if people are coming to me, I'm telling them that if they say to you, hey, you know what, I already been to 1 place, 2 places, so I don't want to get my credit checked. Hey man, don't worry, it's not going to affect it. Talk to this person anyways, or another person, I guess. I won't be that greedy. And that should be fine. So you're not going to get hurt. You're not going to get hurt that way. And what else? Oh yeah, rates are down. Insured purchases, so people with less than 20% down. I've got one lender right now at 2.07. Like, we are on the verge of falling off the 2% cliff. So it is out there. It's going to be there. We are in that spot right now, so that's a good thing to a point. On that note, the rate chasers, right? And we want to post stuff to encourage people. We're going to be very careful, or just as a conversation piece. The 199s at the HSBCs and those low rates, those are not for everybody. Like, you can't refinance and get that. You can't buy a rental and get that. They're super, super specific. So people just got to be careful about that. And they don't come free. Nothing good is free. Even my 2.07, there's some downfalls with that, right? So we just got to be careful when people start shopping that hard, because they're not nearly as good as they want to be. And my credit card bill is getting very high because of the amount of appraisals I'm paying for the KW people. So that's a good thing, because that means people are using me and taking advantage of the fact that we're still offering, are still offering free appraisals for your clients. So if that becomes a thing, if that's a little bit of an incentive, that's great, because the support has been excellent. We're way up numbers over last year in terms of the amount that we're doing together. So I truly, truly appreciate that. And
you're gonna make the podium this year, Kyle?
I always think I will. How high we're gonna get, I don't know. We're gonna see how it goes. We're a little behind goal, but the pipeline looks real good to be right back up there. So 1 month can turn everything around. So but for the rest of the summer, I'm here. I'm working. You guys need anything, as always, I'm dedicated to helping you guys out. Appreciate the opportunity for sure. And if there's anything you hear about me that I need to work on, let me know, and I will gladly pick up my bootstraps. But again, appreciate it. Hope everybody has a good summer, and good luck with everything. I'm on the phone. Give me a call.
We appreciate you, Kyle. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Kyle.
All right. So we're running behind schedule here, and we still have a fair bit of messages to bring to you here. But first, I'd like to recognize and say welcome to all the new agents who have, new and experienced agents who have joined us. Welcome to Christina Danby.
Thank you.
Oh, there you go.
Oops, I'm going the wrong way here with my slides. There we go. I'd like to welcome Patty Walsh. Welcome, Patty, and congratulations.
Hey, Patty.
Rosalie for building her downline. Congratulations, Rosalie. Welcome back to Catherine. We're so happy that you're back. Congratulations to Wendy Bell for building her downline. Really happy to have you back, Catherine. I'd like to celebrate and acknowledge our cappers for May: Paul Bork, Ariane Chabot, Lisa Gerard, Tanya Cole, Paul Lavictoire, and Geraldine Taylor. Congratulations. I'd like to congratulate and celebrate the agents who did their first deal in real estate. Congratulations to Rochelle Marcus, Amanda Tam, and Christina Danby. I believe it's Rachel Marcus. Rachel Marcus, Amanda Tam, and Christina Danby. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks.
And I want to celebrate some, did I go too far? Yes, I did. Celebrate some amazing accomplishments, year-over-year accomplishments. Congratulations to Vineet, who is 1,352% higher this year than last year. So, wow, congratulations. Congratulations to Bola, Ann Scarf, Lisa, Diane, Adam Keith, Yan Ping Mei, Miette, Danielle Gervais, Shelley, all phenomenal numbers. Congratulations. Paul Lavictoire, Jared Humphreys, Courtney Bracken, Reiner, Wendy Bell, Nancy Dallin, Stephanie Kreplin, Robert Fine, Nancy Borth, and AJ Sunak. Amazing accomplishments there. We'd like to acknowledge and thank everybody who's been with us for a long time and shown their loyalty. We appreciate you so very much. Mitch McKenzie, Amy Crichton, Sandy Bill, Crystal Cameron, Tracy Pollock, Keith Lalonde, Robert Fine, Lise LeGros, and Joe Shippenok. So happy, and thank you for being with us for so long and for your loyalty. We appreciate you very much. Okay, that went too fast. I'd like to open the floor for everybody to acknowledge all the wonderful contributions each of you are all making, and if you have someone you want to thank, that now's the opportunity, now's the time. just unmute yourself and go ahead. Okay, I will start off. I'd like to thank Kendra and Wendy and Marvin and our leadership team for all the work that they're doing to try to get our office ready to reopen and making sure that everybody's safety and security are always front and paramount. So I'd like to acknowledge everybody's efforts there.
Diana Saunders is saying she wants to thank Anne for being there, and I want to thank Anne too for taking over and doing the things that she does on a daily basis for our agents. You know, helping people with their paperwork and the clauses and all of that stuff. It's great to have that support.
Well, I want to thank Wendy for bringing MoveSnap, that opportunity, into our brokerage. I signed up for that. Wendy got us a great deal as a brokerage. I believe it was you, Wendy, right, that worked on that. Did anybody else work with you on that? And I'm getting so many compliments from my buyers. It's such a neat thing to use when your deal goes firm, and it makes your buyers feel like you're helping them every step of the way between firm and that final walkthrough and then closing. They get to do their driver's license online after closing. It's really a neat product. If someone isn't using it, you should. And thank you again, Wendy, for getting that for our brokerage.
Can you say what it's called again? I didn't catch that. MoveSnap?
MoveSnap, yeah.
Move, M-O-V-E, moving, like moving. It is a great program to allow your, like Anne says, let your clients go in and change everything on their profile that they need to change when they're moving. Utilities, license, all that stuff.
Yeah, it's wonderful. We'll probably be putting information out about that again over the next little while too. So keep looking for that. They're offering.
It's cheap. It's actually quite inexpensive to do at this point, especially now at halfway into the year. It's less expensive too. It's prorated, but it's really good.
I'd like to thank our ALC and all our committee members as well for moving all the various initiatives forward and all the time and effort that they put into helping make this such a great place and moving everything forward. So.
I want to say thank you to someone, Andrew.
Okay.
I just want to say thank you to Sherry for overlooking my offers and helping get all of us trained. And she's been really fantastic at just working with the group and answering a lot of questions and making sure that we're all staying on track, which is great. So thank you, Sherry.
Well said, Christina. Thanks for speaking up and saying that. We appreciate it.
I want to acknowledge the thank you from the West team, from Taylor specifically. I got it before I give some thanks, because I want to thank Barry, Wendy's husband, for going in and doing a lot of the work that I used to actually do every now and then. It was really nice that he's stepping up so strong, like helping set up or preparing for our COVID stuff and all the work I saw him doing. And really, we do need to say thank you, Barry, because we don't say it enough.
Well done, David. I overlooked that. It's much appreciated. Well said, David. I'm actually going to pass on, pass on a bucket fill from the MCA in Marvin's sister's office at KWRC, who David helped enormous amount recently and guided her through some tricky MCA-related business, and she had nothing but profuse praise for David. So congratulations and well done there too, David.
Thank you.
Actually,
and I should throw one at you, actually, Andrew. Like, we just keep talking about the preparation with the work, and Jill just said it. You've done a lot in terms of keeping that page set up, of putting our resources. There's a lot of effort that I know goes into that, and I really thank you for putting that amount of interest to help all of us. That really is strong.
Thank you, David.
I hear from other market centers about how far ahead we are with our being able to work at home, and that's really a big kudos to David. He's set everything up really well so that it's seamless. There's not an issue, and other people are learning how to do that. So thank you for that, David. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay. So a quick update on Red Day. If you've been collecting bottles for the mission over the last while, we are setting up 2 drop-off days. One is next Thursday, so not tomorrow, but the next Thursday on June 25th. And then we're going to do another one, we think we're really smart, right after Canada Day, because we think there might be a few more bottles after that long weekend. If you want to just meet at the office in the parking lot, we'll coordinate and organize everything. And then if there's anybody who's willing to volunteer to, especially if you have a truck, to bring it to the distribution center, please let myself or Kendra or Tanya Cole, our Red Day committee member, know, and we'll collect all those names. And we're going to get it all sorted, and then we'll be going and dropping it off at the distribution center. So that is on June 25th and July 7th. We're asking people to meet between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. We wanted to celebrate, even during COVID, we've written 147 trades. And David, do you want to speak to the lore?
Yeah, sure. First of all, I saved a thank you for now because these numbers are really, really impressive. I want to thank all of you, the whole group of agents, all our agents who have really made the servicing of paperwork, who've been submitting their work on time, who've, you know, the 95% of you who do it really well in command. The 5% of you that are still giving us trouble, we're hoping that you join the rest of the group. You know who you are. But really, the numbers we're looking at here at our lore is really impressive and indicative of the amount of effort that everyone is taking and the success. The lore numbers do not reflect the office, they reflect your production as a group. This is your production, all the agents. And when we're looking at what you've done from 1 year to the next year, our closed units, quite frankly, I don't know if you're aware, but from the amount of effort that was put in the first 2-3 months of this year, really took us very, very far. This was going to be a record year. And just for your information, it has been a record every month in terms of the amount of closed units that all of you as agents have done. We've had an increase. We've broken our closed units numbers for the highest in Keller, in KWI that we have done January, February, March, April, and May. Right up now for the whole year, you have actually exceeded the best. Give yourselves congrats. It's impressive. And if we take a quick look at May, just looking at the numbers, the board was down 33%. There's that big number in closed units. We're up 22. So we exceeded the board by 55%. You guys go work and really kicking butt. Listings taken, we know it's hard out there. You did your job. You did your getting your fair share or your unfair share, as they say, Keller. And we're outperformed the board by 5.9%. The listings sold. Look at that number. The listings sold, we exceeded, we didn't even drop. We actually exceeded our number by 11.9% compared to the board that dropped at 39, just under 40%. So we actually exceeded the board by 51.7%. That is impressive. Amazing. Even contracts written, wow. We're up. We outperformed the board by 10%. Although we all dropped, we didn't drop as bad. We were out there doing the stuff we were supposed to do. And in terms of the volume, obviously the pricing is getting there because the board dropped 35 and we were at 27 that we dropped. Again, it's really due to the efforts. I think all the tools that we've tried to invest in, getting you to actually work your business has been paying off because you've definitely exceeded the board in all 5 categories that we can compare. So give yourselves a hand. It was an impressive month. Andrew, back over to you.
Thank you very much. So we do recognize that it's been a tough last couple months, and obviously in May with, you know, yes, we're beating the board and that's really important, but we are down in the contracts written and in the listings taken category. But everybody who is out there right now, that market has absolutely been incredible in its rebirth, and I think that hose is unkinking, and it's going to be going on for a longer. We're going to have a busier summer, probably going to have a busier fall, hopefully. So we're really still hoping to have everybody to have phenomenal years. Here are some of the statistics from the board, just to build on the lore. I'm not going to get into this very deeply. These are all posted in the pivot email and in the resource page as well. But you will see that the new listings by week are getting closer and closer to what it was last year. You see the big disparity that there was, but it's been building and building and building. Sold, same thing. We're actually the same amount this past week as we were in 2019. Average sale price is still higher than it is last year, and continues with a crazy amount of multiple offers. We're expecting it to go up and up and up right now. Same thing. This is broken down by residence and then by condo, etc. So you can see all that. And we have a message here from Marvin. He was supposed to be here, but he'll explain.
Hello, Keller Williams Integrity. It's Marvin Alexander. I have to apologize to you. I really intended and looked forward to being at today's team meeting, and unfortunately I'm not able to attend. My daughter just graduated from medical school, and her graduation was supposed to be at the Lincoln Center in New York, and unfortunately with COVID-19, it got canceled. So she's in Canada. She had to reestablish her Canadian citizenship to go back to the United States to start her residency in Boston. And in so doing, she had to self-quarantine somewhere other than our home to allow me to continue to work. So the only day that I get to see her before she goes to Boston is the day of our meeting, being today. And so we're having a surprise backyard graduation, all 6 of us. And that's taking place today, and then tomorrow I'm taking her to the airport, and she's flying back to Boston. So I'm not really sure when I'm going to see her next. So I hope you understand my inability to attend the meeting. You are very important to me. However, this is an opportunity I just can't miss. So I hope you do understand. The other thing I want to talk about is our getting ready to open the offices and our precautions that we're taking in order to do so very safely. So as you'll note, or as I'm sure Andrew and Wendy will elaborate on after my little speech here, we're implementing permanent structures at the reception offices in both Carling and Canada. So instead of going with the more inexpensive looking sort of plexiglass temporary applications, we've actually chosen to go with a permanent application because we do believe it looks good and that it will be the expectation of the consumers and realtors alike going forward. So you'll notice that they're going to have stanchions, so those nice, beautiful chrome or aluminum pieces that separate the pieces of plexi. There'll be a 6-inch opening at the bottom of all of the glass component so that it's easy to slide documentation through when corresponding with our receptionists. And the glass is also going to be set back towards the receptionist side of the counter to allow for the full amount of counter space on the client or realtor side to better equip them to be able to either fill out paperwork on the fly or sort of have a place to put their paperwork and rest it before they slide it through. As far as workstations like our bullpens and our admin section, we're taking additional precautions there, dividing up the workstations accordingly with plexi dividers. And again, Andrew and Wendy can better elaborate on that. And lastly, is going to be hand sanitization stations throughout all buildings, as well as proper signage to talk about proper physical distancing and protocols around using some of the common areas like keyboards and photocopiers, and even the protocols for our receptionists as they change, or call coordinators as they change shifts, to make sure that they all feel comfortable and are well protected. So once again, I miss everybody. I will get out to Ottawa as soon as I can. And thank you so much for your understanding of my inability to attend today. Back to you, Andrew. Thanks so much.
All right. Thank you, Marvin, even though you can't hear me. All right. So here are some pictures of the various barriers and things that we have in the office. These are our closing rooms and the bullpen area, as you can see there. Okay, I went too far. Okay, you an outline and some timelines as to what we're striving for and that are realistic, etc. We've kind of broken the reopening into 3 stages. Right now, I would say that we are officially in stage 1, where the retrofit of the office is in progress. The procedures and policies, etc., they're all being developed. The office is open to agents, but people are asked to work from home wherever possible. Office is not yet open to the public and clients. Agents who must bring their clients in to use the closing rooms as if they have no other safe alternative will not be turned back. So you can if you feel like it's essential. Training and communication of the procedures and policies are going to be ongoing between now and our goal to start stage 2 is July 6th. It would be faster, but a lot of this stuff is on back order, and especially since we're trying to do custom solutions, it's taking a little longer. So let's say stage 2 does officially start on July 6th, or as early as we can get through all our checklists, etc. The retrofit procedures and policies will all be developed. Training and communication will be complete as into how you guys are and how staff and all that is expected to operate safely. Canada will be reopened with staff. All offices will be reopened to the public by then. Staff and management will be turning to the office on a more or less a rotational basis. Training and coaching will recommence in the training room to small groups while maintaining and continuing to maintain sales meetings and training, etc., all online. The final stage, we're hoping to be kind of back to the new normal with everything in place late July, early August. And that will be kind of following all public health guidelines to the strongest possibility, to the strongest of our ability, etc. And that's kind of our timeline and our goal. We have checklists and a whole plan in place to try to do that, is keeping everybody's safety at the highest concern. Okay, do I have any questions on that? Wendy, do you have anything to add?
Well, I think if somebody does need to use a client room, that they should call ahead and book it. Make sure, I don't know who's talking there. Make sure it gets booked.
Sorry, it's my spouse you can hear in the background.
Okay.
I'll turn off again. I was just going to add something.
Yeah, they need to book a room, that's all. And so these items are being ordered. We ordered a few of these ones you see on the screen to see how they worked. And I think they're fine. And we'll order some more for the client rooms. And as Marvin said, the ones for the reception area are all custom. We've got signage that's going to be all around the office, Lysol and sanitizing and all that stuff. Everything is going to be there. So we are getting ready to reopen. I'm tired of working at home on my dining room table, frankly.
All right, Wendy, you're still on. Yep. If you wanted to get an update on this.
Yep. Okay. So here we go. So there's been a move afoot amongst some of the brokerages to coordinate and use one form. We looked at the CREA form and they made a valiant attempt, but it's nothing like our form is. And so from here on in, we are still using our own forms. Just want you to understand, I've gone in and made some tweaks to the forms so that they're more easily understood. I'm going to pull up my forms here just very quickly. Can I share the screen here?
Yep, I'll make you a co-host. Apparently I can do that.
Okay.
Second.
Where's my share screen? Okay.
I'm working on it. You gotta let me.
Hey?
You gotta let me make you a host. I don't see them make co-hosts, but there, now you're host.
Okay. So I'll share my screen. Okay. Okay. Can you all see my screen?
Not yet.
Not yet? It said it was disabled, Andrew.
Try again.
Okay.
Maybe it just didn't switch to host quick enough.
Not yet. Okay. Here's my forms. Come on, let's go. There we go. Okay. So you can see in this section, I've made some red notes so people understand better what to do. So form number 1, I'm not going to go through all the forms. It's pretty self-explanatory. Form number 1, though, is for the seller when they're going to allow an in-person showing through our brokerage. And if I can do this, get number 2. And this is for the realtor. For our realtor, when they're listing property, I think people are forgetting to get this one done. When you're listing a property, we need this one to be on file. You can upload your forms to Showing Time or to Matrix. All the forms have had a privacy statement added at the bottom, so they're OREB compliant, no problem with that. We do need the forms, and you will be asked to have them. So the other controversial one right now is this Form 3, the cooperating brokerage, where we ask the realtor to sign. They have to sign that form. And then number 4 is the buyer one. So the buyer form ensures that the buyer going through our listing or a cooperating brokerage listing, that the buyer is healthy. And some people don't want to send this back because it does provide the details of their buyer's name. They don't have to send it back. They can, as long as they retain it. We have to retain it for a period of at least 14 days, because if somebody gets sick between the showing and the 14 days, we have to be able to reach the people that showed the property. So that one's really important. All these forms are available through the resources. They're all fillable forms. This number 5 is for a third party. So that would be for a photographer, appraiser, homestager, whoever. They also have to say that they're healthy. So the MCAs, the market center groups are asking to have these submitted, and you'll be bugged to have them done. So make sure you get them done. I know it's painful. Trust me, I have listings, I have buyers, and I know it's painful, but it's just what we have to do right now to keep everybody healthy and safe. Do you have anybody have any questions?
Well, I think the only thing I'd add is it's healthy and safe, and it's also securing your liability. We have 50,000 in liability insurance if we are considered to be at fault for getting someone sick, etc. And that's probably just not going to cut it. So we're going to need to be showing that we're taking the proper precautions and all that stuff.
Very true, Andrew. And the CREA form actually doesn't cover the brokerage really at all. That's the problem. When you read it through, we've spent a lot of time working on these forms when this all started, and they're still here. We tweak them every once in a while, and hopefully this is the end of the tweaks. But please be sure to use them. They are not hard to use. They're fillable forms, and they're on the resources page. And maybe, Andrew, you could post another link on the pivot to that.
It's always on the pivot.
Okay,
perfect. In the resources section of the pivot and on the resources page, it's always there. Yeah.
Okay, that's it.
We will continue to keep looking at this and look for solutions to make this easier. We've talked a little bit about potentially automating the way of sending these and all that stuff. So we're going to continue to look at that. But right now, it's extremely important that we continue using these forms. And that's what we really want to get across today.
Yep, for sure. And anybody have any specific questions about the forms that we can answer quickly? I know we're running out of time.
We're out of time. Yeah.
You saved the best for last, Andrew. Thanks. All right, I'll stop sharing my screen. You can have it back.
Thank you. I appreciate everybody who's staying on as we've gone over here. We thought we had all our timing sorted, and there was just some value that I didn't want to stop because I felt it was very worthwhile, so we carried on. I'm trying to go back to the slides, although I do believe we're pretty much. So the last thing, I'm not going to end up playing the videos. The last thing I wanted to just say, and you're going to see these in the pivot, is we have a lot of, as you saw in our numbers, we have a lot of teams, especially right now with As That Holds is I'm Kicking, who are extraordinarily busy. And there's a hiring push amongst a lot of our larger teams. If you feel like you haven't come out of COVID with a big pipeline and you're wondering or considering what your options are, we have a phenomenal teams in here. I've asked them all to do a short video about their value proposition and what they might be hiring for. We're going to create a special little website and tally up those videos so that you can go and just explore who's looking. One great steps that you could take, if you want to send me an email or your coach an email, or we could send you what's called a KPA, Keller Personality Assessment. That's going to look at how you like to be coached, how you like to do business, where your strengths are, where you might have some blind spots, and then help us guide you on whether or not you'd actually be happier on a team, happier as a single agent, or whether or not maybe you need to hire an admin yourself because your ideal situation is a mega agent and you need to have someone helping you with the admin work, etc. So we have some really cool tools that can help guide you through that process. If you're looking to get some consulting on that, just please reach out to one of us, and we're happy to help make sure that you're exactly where you want to be and help you map out the opportunity map for your career. There's lots of opportunities and there's lots of people inside Integrity that are looking for great talent. And if you're already here, we know you're that. So I was going to show you those videos, but I'll end without those videos, and just look for that in the pivot email. And I want to thank everybody for staying here the extra 35 minutes. And we appreciate you, and keep working hard. And it's a phenomenal opportunity, I believe, out there right now. So go get them. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you.
Hi, good morning to another Zoom call. We will work from home till quarantine is done. Human contact's kind of nice.
I didn't actually mean to stop sharing that. There we go.
Hi, good morning to another Zoom call. We will work from home till quarantine is done. Human contact's kind of nice, but they'll fix your connection. It's a struggle to be productive with these cats and fun backgrounds and that drill. Linda, put yourself on mute. That's much better. Hello? We still can't see you, Bill. Sorry. Can someone please just tell him what to do now? Preferably before we lose our chill.
Bill, come on. This is not
Click the camera icon at the bottom of your screen where it says start video.
See if it's even on. What is...
Wow.
Oh my gosh. Oh, no.
We know someday we will have in-person meetings and forget we ever saw Drew take a poo. We'll put on pants and struggle with projectors. We just can't wait until the day we get off Zoom. We get off Zoom. We get off Zoom. We just can't wait till the day we get off Zoom.
Oh, crap. Should we jump on Google Hangouts? Oh. All right.
You guys all stuck around for that? Well, see you guys all later. Talk to you soon.